What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Uchiha 3. Long face, skinny body, and we are back. Still black with some more fire. Emphasis on the word fire. Amazing, great. Boruto manga related content. Now let's get to the business. You already know the dealio.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. One chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Chapter 22 dropped today. Your boy just fresh off of reading the chapter. I mean, fresher than fresh. So it's like real life front and center reactions. And honestly, it's a real. Everything works. It's a chapter called Jura. You feel me? Cold cover. Probably one of my more favorite Boruto covers. It is hard Boruto cover, and people don't. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. I rocks with it. The different color schemes, the cape flowing off of him, hand in his pocket, the shirt halfway tucked in. You see his karma tattoo. He got a little bit of extra necklaces on. The jewelry, like the drip, is there. Big Boruto. It lets y'all know, like, he's been undergoing this whole entire transition in his life, embracing, the life that Naruto lived, kind of the life that Sasuke lived, just being one against the world. Everybody's against him, right? But y'all gotta understand, he's still staying true to himself. And what do I mean by that? When Kishimoto introduced Boruto was always the cool kid. He liked to look fly. He liked to be clean. That's why Naruto and Sasuke got into that original argument. Naruto's like, this dude too worried about how he look as opposed to what's actually getting done. And Sasuke's like, nah, he wants to get it done, but he just also wants to look fly doing it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. My nigga Boruto is keeping up to the transitions. He is fly. The cover is hard. Chapter's titled Jura. It's getting real gritty, right? So opens up. We had a couple of instances for the sneak peek spoiler pages where we saw Jura popping up on Mitsuki. I was able to talk about it on the pod. Shout out to Cloud Ninja Podcast, my guy Free Game, and my guy Bara B, who was able to chop it up at length actually about Jura and his approach to the battlefield, whether it be pulling up and trying to take one of Boruto's friends hostage or being an aggressor of sorts. And as I said in the pod, he actually has taken on this aggressor role. And what's even more intriguing is they didn't really take him out of character, because he essentially still has that calm and collected demeanor, but you can tell he's moving with a sense of purpose, and he's actively putting the pressure, especially on the likes of Boruto within this chapter. So he pops up. We all see the page. Mitsuki and Araya are talking, and I like how Mitsuki already deduces the situation. He's trying to tell Araya to get out of there ASAP, no Rocky, and retrieve and return that Soul Thorn bulb to my guy Shinki while he takes care of, the Clog Arms. But in the middle of coming up with that plan, that's when Jura pops up and things all go haywire. So they're matching him in the description that they have for the Shinju's boss. They starting to freak out, and Jura does something very interesting that lets you know, like, he's active, but at the same time he's not stepping out of pocket, right? Ain't nothing making him too uncomfortable, because he eyes everybody, he eyes the situation, and Mitsuki's like, yo, wouldn't it make sense for him to just grab the Soul Thorn bulb? And later on, we find out from Jura himself, he simply came here to kill Boruto. Nothing more, nothing less. So he don't care about anything else. Everything else is an afterthought, right? So he rises menacingly and slowly. And a little key point, he kind of gazes at Sarada as she's knocked out in Mitsuki's arm. So that's an interesting note right there. It could be a gaze of, maybe it was her that I was just sensing that great, enormous power from. If y'all can't tell right now, I'm winking. Hey, but shout out all my Sarada fans. But Jura possibly finds something intriguing and interesting about Sarada. However, he still, he gazes the situation, he analyzes the battlefield, and he notices Konohamaru and Boruto's location. And speaking of Konohamaru and Boruto, right, I ain't gonna cap. I enjoyed this shot because we got a lot more like stretched out Boruto dialogue. Now we see how time skip Boruto actually acts, deduces things, and converse with people, because he's talking to Konohamaru. Konohamaru's like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, that you just took down Masuri instantly. And Boruto's being modest. He's like, bruh, she was already beat up pretty bad. It wouldn't have been that easy if she wasn't in the condition she was in right now, right? So he starts setting up the battlefield because he's like, I can sense that. I know you can sense that. They both sense Jura has emerged. So Boruto's just throwing shuriken all across the battlefield, and he's like, you know what? Jura's here. He shot a Bijou bomb, and it's like, I like it. I really like it because it shows like Jura is still that overpowered, menacing aura. He does what he tried to do back in chapter 13, shoot Boruto from miles and miles away, and he missed this time, right? It hits the rock that's next to them. Both Boruto and Konohamaru notices it, right? A little sniper shot, and Boruto's like, Jura's coming, and like, let's get to it, right? So no more wasting time. I'm gonna set up the battlefield with my flying Raijin markers. You take that Soul Thorn bulb and get out of here. You get Sarada, you get Mitsuki, Araya, and Yodo, and you dip. Leave, right? And I like, it's like, no, I always thought Konohamaru, Konohamaru definitely still has that animosity towards Boruto, obviously because of the omnipotence, but you can see, I giving credit where credit is due. Konohamaru, he asks questions. Obviously, there's going to be tensions where you ask questions in situations where you're confused, but he understood the assignment. He didn't have no grudge held. He didn't be like, why are you here saving me? He acknowledged, like, bro, I ain't gonna lie, you cut her down fast as hell, you know. And now he's like, okay, Jura is here. What's the plan? What are we doing? You want me to get this Soul Thorn bulb out of here? And then Jura shoots another major bomb at them, and Boruto flies, catches Konohamaru, and throws him out the way. As soon as Konohamaru lands his feet, he doesn't even turn back. So I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I appreciate these type of moments with the character, and these are the moments I'm talking about. Y'all can't expect too much from him, but what he is willing to do and what he can do, and if you just analyze that, it's like, it's what it is. You feel me? But if you try to go above and beyond, it's like you're gonna get disappointed. And I'm gonna say it time and time, you're gonna get disappointed, and you will forever be disappointed. But no questions asked, no hesitation. Konohamaru doesn't even look back over his shoulder. The minute his feet touch the ground, he's all jets, and he puts the burners on. And Jura's watching him run. And as Jura's watching him run, right, that's when we see Boruto start to finally dig deep in his bag, and we see how he acts in a prolonged battle. So he's popping off Flying Raijin, popping behind Jura, right? And Jura's like getting caught by surprise necessarily. I'm getting the idea, right? And it comes to both cases. Jura is too durable for Boruto to land any type of meaningful attack on him, but Boruto is too fast for Jura to actually land a hit on this guy, right? So the only time Jura actually landed a hit on Boruto was when he captured him in that wood clone, that wood style jutsu, right? And prior to that, it was a bunch of flying Raijin and Bijou bombs flying all across the board and no hits being landed. Or you can say Boruto's landing these hits, but they're not necessarily doing anything. He Rasengan's Jura to the back. He tries to swipe Jura off. You know, Jura blocks it with the finger. So it's just letting you know Jura is just that much stronger than Boruto. But at the same time, Boruto's speed is probably his greatest asset and the only reason he is currently alive right now. And Ada, shout out to Ada, you know what I'm saying, big Ada, our part of the Mangekyo gang. She is having a conversation with another Mangekyo member in Kashin Koji, and they're discussing the current predicament, right? And it's kind of like a loophole, but then it's like Kashin Koji stamps it. He's like, nah, Boruto's done for, right? Because Kashin Koji is telling Ada there's no way he can win, at least with these current sequence of events. Meaning, which I've always been saying and time again, Kashin Koji saw all possible futures, yes, but he didn't say in every single future Boruto's died. He just said every future that he saw, Boruto died. And then he also went on to say that, you know, implementing new things or having new singularities completely changes the fate and the futures that he saw, which will basically mean everything that he saw is useless. So they already established an idea for where Kashin Koji can go into a future situation blind, or i.e. not necessarily understanding what could actually happen, right? But currently, right now, he understands that there's no chance in these current sequences that are undergoing right now for Boruto to win, and they deduce and come to the situation where Boruto is actually sacrificing himself, right? He's trying to hold off Jura long enough to allow everybody else on the battlefield to escape, because in this time, right, Kashin Koji sees a future where if Boruto would by any chance manage to escape, not only would the others be in danger, but Jura is gonna get those Soul Thorn bulbs, right? And then they emphasize why Boruto can't just make it all quick and nifty, right? Everything on the battlefield is free game. He can teleport and transport anywhere. Even Jura notices, like, bro, that flying Raijin juice, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's really handy dandy. And then Jura's getting excited. He's like, bro, I'm excited, right? And I like the dialogue even from Jura this chapter. Both Jura and Boruto got an expanse on their dialogue and how we see how these characters operate in this current day and age, right? But it's been established Boruto is going to take longer for him to focus if he wants to travel, especially outside of the dimension, but in long distances and in cases and scenarios as such. So fighting someone like Jura, and needing to be able to stay on top of your game and on top of your toes at all times, it makes it hard for him to focus and detect his chakra for the marks that he has in long distance areas. So Ada's like, okay, so he can't escape. Essentially, he's sacrificing himself. And Kashin Koji just says it without a doubt, Boruto is dying, right? So Jura has a lot of interesting dialogues, and I said I really do enjoy this conversation between Boruto and Jura because it's kind of building up a tension and a relationship between the main character and the main villain, which is something I wouldn't say necessarily lacked in the story previous times, but necessarily like we need more interactions between the MC and the main villain to build like a sense of rivalry and attention for every time they come across each other. We understand it's gonna be smoke, right? So Jura's asking them, who's Kashin Koji? Where's Kashin Koji? Basically, long story short, how do you know about us divine trees? And it has to be someone else because we literally was just born. For some reason, you know all this information about us, right? And Boruto's not answering. So Jura's like, all right, let's just keep it a little bit more, social. What do you think love is? And then he gives his explanation. Jura's like, I think it's a weakness as a side effect of being such an intelligent species. Basically, he gives y'all props as humans, but also says like y'all flawed and y'all fall and give in to this weakness. And Boruto says you might be right about that, but at the same time, and Boruto clarifies this is just his opinion, that precise reasoning and thinking that you have is the reason why y'all will never be more than just trees. And they start getting busy. We see wood style flying all over the battlefield, and Jura is sending all of these planks, these trees, these branches all around Boruto. He's flying around, he's dodging them, he gets caught because Boruto realizes everything isn't working. They've been fighting and he can't drag this out, or he can't afford to drag this out any much longer. So he has to figure out a way to get this Uzuhiko off, right? And I want to chalk it up to Boruto let himself get captured, but at the same time, Jura did catch him off guard, right? He's bleeding right here, but Boruto also took advantage of this opportunity of staying still, right? Allowing Jura to pick up his sword and just gather the chakra he needed, at least a minimum amount for Uzuhiko. And it lets me know Jura's able to disable it because we see he got hit with the Uzuhiko. He gets flying. He tries to stand up. Boruto is spinning in his head, and Boruto clarifies like, "Yeah, bro, ain't nothing looking sweet for you right now, ain't it? Yeah, that's that Uzuhiko for you, my boy." Boruto's talking a little tough because he feeling confident. Can't nobody really counter his Uzuhiko, and then Jura just reverses the effects with the rotation, like the same principle that applies to applying your chakra to create that Bijou ball. Essentially, isn't that different from how Boruto applies his chakra and the planet's chakra to create that Uzuhiko. So long story short, Jura just dissipates it by reversing the rotation through the principles he has with his own Bijou bomb, and he catches Boruto completely off guard once he does this, and it lets us know that yeah, Boruto is definitely in some deep shit. But even past that, right, and Jura's just like, yeah, bro, you're making these irrational decisions all because of love, and he's like, I'm proving my point right here because you came here because of love, and you're about to die because of love. You can't tell me that I'm not wrong. You can't tell me that I'm not right here. And it's really, really good. It's really good dialogue, this chapter. I ain't gonna cap, so much happened, but at the same time, this felt like a very, very, very quick chapter. And I'm scared for Boruto, but at the same time, it's like I'm not, because if he would have had an opportunity to do a full power Uzuhiko, talk to me, chat. Do y'all think, because Jura fell to his knees with just that miniature Uzuhiko that he got hit with, but if Boruto hit him with a full powered one, do you think he would have time to dissipate or reverse the chakra turning, right, in order to nullify the ability? Because I know that Jura can do it, but it obviously shows that it's not an instant nullification, because he still fell to his knees and he still got affected by that vertigo due to Boruto's Uzuhiko. So it's a matter of, can the Uzuhiko be strong enough to prevent Jura from nullifying it, right? Can Boruto even be put in a situation where he can charge up a Uzuhiko that strong in order to get the one up on Jura? But it's been clear, bro. Boruto might be too fast for Jura, but Jura simply is too much of a walking tank and powerhouse for anything that Boruto has to do to harm him. So he definitely has to go back to the drawing board, and he has to like get stronger. Long story, and it's crazy that I even say that, right? But we already know he's gonna tap into the Jogan, he's gonna tap into the Karma. So there's different means where we understand Boruto can get stronger already, right? If I had to say, honestly, chat, first of all, 10 out of 10 chapter, amazing chapter, more breakdowns, more analysis coming through and coming soon to your way. But if I had to be honest, I would say Jura probably used like 10 to 20% versus Himawari, and in this Boruto fight, he probably used, I would say, 50 to 60%. I'd say we still got a good 40% left to see Jura like actually lock in and go all out, because he still said it, bro. He said it despite getting the implications he's not fighting full power. He still said he's excited whenever he fights Boruto, and he can't help himself, right? Because Boruto is such a strong opponent. So it's a band for band chapter, really, this chapter, bro, because Boruto's doing all of these things. He's getting the hits on Jura. Jura's tanking the hits. He's trying to get these shots and Biju bombs on Boruto. Boruto's dodging it. He's getting caught. He's breaking through Jura's jutsu. It's like so much going on. So let me know how y'all feel at the end of the day. Chapter 22, hands down, 10 out of 10. Ada and Kashin Koji, y'all's conversation really sparked a lot of intrigue and a lot of interest. Not just that conversation, but also the fact of Boruto and Jura's conversation. Two most important things for me: Ada and Kashin Koji's conversation, and then Boruto and Jura's conversation. After that, of course, I love the fight. I love everything that happened between Boruto and Jura. I'm trying to see what was that stare down he gave to the queen, Sarada. Is there something more to it? Could Sarada be that extra singularity that we need to get Boruto to have his saving grace, to get his tail saved? Maybe we're looking at Kawaki and we're looking at Boroshiki when we should be looking at Sarada, right? But who knows? Honestly, it's so many questions, it's so many possibilities, no pun intended, of course, with every single Boruto chapter. But hands down, bro, I don't know, I gotta reread it again, because I'm not gonna cap. Himawari versus Jura was my favorite fight, is my favorite fight right now. I would say, oh my goodness, bro, I think Boruto versus Jura is top up there. It's up there. I would say Himawari versus Jura, Boruto versus Jura, Sarada versus Ryu, of course. Honestly, I would probably take Sarada versus Ryu out of the top 3 and keep that as an honorable mention, and then put Boruto versus the Shinju in chapter 4. Or chat, bear with me. Y'all know I'm the biggest Sarada fan. But either that, it's crazy because my top 3 fights all include Jura, possibly. Well, at least Jura or Boruto, right? You got Boruto versus the Shinju, chapter 4. Then you got Boruto versus Jura. And then you got Jura versus Himawari. Top 3 fights. And then honorable mentions, of course, the Queen, the GOAT, Sarada Uchiha versus Ryu, and Boruto versus Mitsuki, right? Crazy fights. And then if you want to just throw in one more, I would definitely say Boruto, Sarada, and Konohamaru versus Hidari. But hands down, chapter 22, bro. Stay tuned for more insights. Stay tuned for more videos. It's your boy Black Ch.22. Let me know how y'all felt about it. Boruto chapter 22 was straight, guys. Boruto versus Jura is here. Momoshiki possibly pulling up? Question mark. Let me know, chat. Holla at your mama. Holla at y'all. Black Ch out. Yes, sir. Ski.